So in this video we will explain the function of the liver. Okay, function of the liver. Liver have many important functions, but we will explain the basics principle in which all the functions are coming. So this is the liver right lobe and left lobe. Okay, and this is the falciform one. So what are the function of the liver? And function of the liver, if you start explaining, there are three main functions. Okay, the first one is the metabolism, and another is the synthesis, another is the storage. You will explain these three basically. Okay, and also the detoxification. Okay, but now let's come here to the metabolism. So in the body there are different compounds. You can see the first one is the glucose. Glucose is present in our body. The second one is the protein. Okay, the third one is the lipid. So these compounds are present in our body: carbohydrate, lipids, and protein. Now first of all, in carbohydrate metabolism of glucose, you can write it carbohydrate. Okay, in carbohydrate metabolism, what you will expect from the carbohydrate metabolism? From carbohydrate metabolism, you expect that first is the gluconeogenesis. Okay, gluconeogenesis. Genesis means the formation. If you start the creating of glucose, okay, by new way, gluconeogenesis, from the fatty acid or from the amino acid, etc., different type of you start making glucose. Okay, that is the gluconeogenesis. Another is the glycogenesis. Glycogenesis, when you start forming the glycogen. And how it's will form? It's will form by insulin. I will explain. Okay, glycogenesis. And the third one is the glycogenolysis. Glycogenolysis. So you have to just remind these three by their name. Gluconeogenesis. Okay, gluconeogenesis, glycogenesis, and glycogenolysis. Okay, the breakdown of glycogen. Now come here to the proteins. In the proteins, what are the things that you can see? First thing is the deamination. Deamination, transamination, and the third one is the synthesis of plasma protein. For example, the main one is the albumin, clotting factor, and globin. Albumin, clotting factor, and globin. Globulin. Okay, these are the main. Globulin help in the immunity. Okay, now the next one is the lipids. What you can expect from the lipids? So in lipid metabolism, you have three things. One is the fatty acid oxidation. You have fatty acid oxidation, fatty acid oxidation. Okay, fatty acid oxidation. The second one is the ketogenesis. Acid oxidation, if you do fatty acid oxidation, it will give you ATP and energy. Okay. Now the second thing is ketogenesis. 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 Okay. In ketogenesis, ketone body. Production of ketone body from fatty acid during prolonged fasting or low carbohydrate diet. For example, if you have low carbohydrate diet and low carbohydrate, ketogenesis is actually the formation of ketone bodies. Ketone bodies when you have low carbohydrate diet. Okay, when you have low carbohydrate diet during fasting, then the ketone body is formed from the fatty acid. Okay, ketone body is formed from fatty acid. Another is the cholesterol synthesis. And the cholesterol synthesis, you have the in the fatty lipids, the cholesterol synthesis. Okay, in lipid metabolism there is the cholesterol synthesis, creating cholesterol, which is essential for cell membrane and hormone production. For example, if lipid, there is a cholesterol synthesis, and this is important for cell membrane and hormones. So now you can just revise it, the metabolism of the carbohydrate, protein, lipid. In carbohydrate there are two things. One is the gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis means the formation of glucose, and here is the glycogenolysis. This is also the formation of the glucose. So these two are the formation of glucose, and these occur at which time? For example, if you have a fasting, or there is no glucose and the glucose level is become decreased. Now we will explain here carbohydrate. In carbohydrate we have explained three things. Okay, we will explain that. And in the protein there is deamination, transamination, synthesis of plasma protein. So you have to remember this: deamination, transamination, synthesis of protein. In the lipid there is the fatty acid oxidation, ketogenesis, and cholesterol synthesis. Fatty acid oxidation, ketogenesis, and cholesterol synthesis. Okay, now in carbohydrate, let's come to the carbohydrate and what you can expect from the carbohydrate. So in the carbohydrate you have to remember we have explained two things. One is the gluconeogenesis. Another is the glycogenolysis. If these two things happen, and this, at which time this will happen? For example, if the glucose level become decreased during fasting or something, then glucagon will release, and glucagon, what will it do? It actually break down the glycogen into glucose. Okay, so the glucose level become normal. Okay, and another is the gluconeogenesis. In gluconeogenesis, the glucose formation is occur in the new way. Okay, another is the last thing, in the carbohydrate metabolism, the third thing is the glucogenesis. Glucogenesis. What? The third thing is here is the glucogenesis. Means the formation of the glycogenesis. Actually the glycogenesis. Glycogenesis. Glycogenesis occur, for example, when the glucose level become too high. So the glycogenesis start, and in glycogenesis what will happen? The insulin release, and insulin they they actually what it help, it actually the increase the cell capacity to absorb glucose. Okay, and another is the to start the glycogenesis, formation of glycogen, and glycogen is actually the storage form of the carbohydrate. Okay, now come to the protein. In protein we have explained the three things: deamination, transamination, synthesis of plasma protein. Okay, so this is so simple. If we don't go on, deamination is actually the removal of amino acid, placing ammonia which is converted to urea. For example, we will let explain deamination in protein. Deamination, what will happen in deamination? The removal of amino group. You have to simply remember this thing, that it is actually the removal of amino group. Deamination is actually the removal of amino group producing ammonia. When you remove the ammonia group, it will produce ammonia. When ammonia is produced, what will happen? It's converted into urea. So first of all, deamination, removal of amino group, ammonia, and this will convert into the urea. Okay, so in the protein there are one is the deamination, okay, this is the first one. The second thing is the transamination and synthesis of plasma protein. Actually there is essential amino acid and non-essential amino acid. So there is actually a process called transamination. Transamination occur for the purpose of transfer of amino group to produce non-essential amino acid. Here is the transamination, transfer, just wait for a second. Transfer of amino group to produce essential amino acid, to produce non-essential amino acid, actually non-essential amino acid. Okay, produce non-essential amino acid. This is the transamination. The third thing is the you have ammonia convert into the urea. Okay, the third thing is here is the synthesis of plasma protein synthesis. There are one is the globulin, but the main one is the albumin. Albumin is very important things. Okay, albumin, and another is the clotting factor. Okay, this is about the protein, another is the about the lipids. What will happen in the lipids metabolism? Okay, so we will explain now lipids. In the lipid there are three things happen: fatty acid oxidation for the energy production, fatty acid oxidation. Another is the fatty acid oxidation for what purpose? For energy purpose. Ketogenesis and cholesterol synthesis. Ketogenesis and cholesterol synthesis. Fatty acid oxidation give you an energy ATP. Ketogenesis is the formation of ketone from fatty acid, ketone, fatty acid, formation of ketone from fatty acid. Okay, and these occur during when the this process is occur. Ketogenesis occur at which time? When there is the glucose level, low glucose, low glucose, low glucose or prolonged fasting. Okay, and cholesterol is the cholesterol synthesis is very important. For what purpose? Cholesterol synthesis is important for membrane because all membrane have cholesterol present in that. Another is hormones. Hormones are the important component of the body, and that's that is come from the cholesterol synthesis. So this is the lipid. Fatty acid oxidation for ATP. ATP, ketogenesis, formation of ketone from fatty acid. Okay, and cholesterol synthesis for membrane and hormones production. So this is all the metabolism. Now we will come to the synthesis. Okay, metabolism is occur. Now synthesis. Which things is produced by the synthesis? So in the synthesis, first of all, we will come to the synthesis. So liver, what types of products are produced by the liver in the synthesis? So the first and the foremost thing is the bile. Bile production is the main component. Okay, bile production, and the second thing is the plasma, plasma and lipid protein, plasma protein, plasma protein, and the third thing is the there are three things: bile production, plasma protein, and another is lipid and lipoprotein, lipids and lipoprotein, lipids and lipoprotein. So these are the three things in the synthesis. Okay, and the fourth thing, that is detoxification. Just we will explain detoxification here. The detoxification also occur here. Okay, and after this we will explain the storage. Glycogen, vitamin, mineral, blood reservoir, these are stored in the body. So bile production, actually bile production is a complete video. We will create video on bile production and bile secretion, but you have to just remember bile, bile production, how it happened. Okay, so bile production is the easy process. This is your liver. Okay, and here one is the bile duct. This is the bile duct coming from the liver. Okay, this is the common hepatic duct. Left and right hepatic duct combine and form the common hepatic duct, and there is a gallbladder is present here. Okay, and from the gallbladder there is also a duct come, and that both, when both are combined, they form the common bile duct. Okay, from the cystic duct. This is the cystic duct. When they come, they form the common bile duct. Okay, so here is the hepatocyte. Liver is the parenchyma of the liver have hepatocyte. Hepatocytes. In the parenchyma of the liver there is a hepatocyte, and hepatocyte, between the hepatocyte, for example, hepatocyte have three surfaces. Hepatocyte have three surfaces. Three surfaces. One is the sinusoidal surface. For example, here is the sinusoid. Blood move through here and filtrate here. Okay, blood move here. This is the sinusoidal surface of the hepatic cell. Okay, another is the caniculi. There is the caniculi present here. Caniculi, and in this caniculi, the actually these hepatocytes secrete caniculi bile to this caniculi. Okay, and then these caniculi combined form the ducts. Okay, different intralobular duct, and the hepatic duct left, right. Okay, So this is the canicular surface, this is the sinusoidal surface, okay, or interhepatic, and this is the interhepatic interhepatic surfaces, okay. So now just when these hepatocytes secrete the bile come to here and they move through the common bile duct. So this is the bile production, and bile production is the very important. Actually, bile, what is the function of the bile is emulsification of fat into my cells that easily absorb. So it do emulsification and help in the absorption and help in the bile absorption. So this is the bile production. Now this is actually bile. We have explained the bile production. The next thing is the, for example, how this bile, I'll just explain a little bit. Bile, when this bile secreted here, they move to the gallbladder and stored in the gallbladder, okay. Stored in the from the gallbladder, it become concentrated, the sodium, potassium, sodium, etc., water they absorb from the gallbladder, okay, and they become concentrated. Actually it can store up to 30 to 60 ml of bile, okay, but up to 12 hour, how many 460 ml of 460 ml of bile can come to the gallbladder, but actually it absorb water, etc., become concentrated the bile. And when the cholecystokinin fat come to the duodenum, cholecystokinin act on the gallbladder and to secrete the bile to the second part of the duodenum by major duodenal papilla as the ampulla of Vater, okay. So this is about the bile. Now the next thing is the bile is happen. Now plasma protein. So plasma protein. In plasma protein you have to remember three things. One is the albumin, production of albumin, and the function of albumin is the oncotic pressures. For example, this is your blood vessel, okay, blood vessel. When there is the albumin, so albumin attract water to create a pressure in this blood vessel, okay. And if there is the low albumin, what will happen in your body? In your body there is when albumin, its deficiency its deficiency lead to edema, okay, edema, swelling, etc., okay. Now the next thing is the albumin. Next is the globulin, clotting factor. Clotting factor, how it help in the clotting factor? One important thing is there is enzyme, vitamin K dependent enzyme, that is vitamin K dependent enzyme, and that help in the formation of vitamin K dependent enzyme. All the factors that require vitamin K produce here. So what will happen? What are that factor? Okay, so 2, 9, 7, 10, these are the clotting factors that require vitamin K and that produce in the liver, okay. And clotting factor are essential for coagulation. Another is the, so you have to remember plasma protein. One is the albumin, another is the clotting, another is the immune. And immune function, there is the protein that is the complement. Complements protein are produced, and complement protein, what it do? It actually complement, there are complement protein part of the immune response, okay. So we have explained the bile production, plasma protein, and another is the lipids and lipoprotein, okay. So this is so easy. Lipids and lipoprotein production. So this is so easy. So actually the production of lipid is actually the VLDL, 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 LDL, low density lipid. Okay, and another is the high density lipid, HDL. So these three things are prepared. VLDL, LDL, HDL. These three things are prepared to transport lipid to the bloodstream. Another is the detoxification. So liver, the main important function is the detoxification of the liver, the phase 1, phase 2 modification, and another is the conjugation reaction to make substance more water soluble. So they are in detoxification. Let's come to the detoxification. Detoxification. What will happen in the, there is two phases. Phase 1 and phase 1 and phase 2. So what will happen is the phase 1 and phase 2. In phase 1 there is modification. In the phase 2, what will happen in the phase 2, there is the conjugation. Modification and conjugation. So reaction to make substance more water soluble. What will when the phase 1 there is modification occur, and in the phase 2 there is conjugation occur, and what will happen to this? The substance become more water soluble. Water soluble substance become more water soluble. When they become more water soluble, they can easily excrete through urine. Okay, so this is about the detoxification. Now come to the storage. The function of the liver is also about the storage. So in the storage there is the one is the blood reservoir. Okay, blood reservoir, glycogen or it's store glycogen, okay, or glucose. So the store form of the glucose is called glycogen. Okay, and another is the blood reservoir. When the blood is needed, so it's transport blood to all over the body, okay, during injury, etc. And another is the mineral and vitamin. The main important vitamin are the fats, vitamin E, the vitamin E, K, D, A. These are the four vitamin. That is fat soluble vitamin, and also water soluble vitamin. Water soluble vitamin is actually vitamin B12 and folate. Okay, so these also be stored in the liver, and this is the simple things I show to you. Now this is all about the storage. In mineral there is various copper store, ferritin, for example. If you go to a mineral, there is the iron store, there is the copper store, iron store in the form of ferritin. Okay, and when these storage function become decreases or ineffective, then there is a Wilson disease occur. Okay, we don't go to that things. So this is all about the function of the liver. Now let's revise. Okay, so function of liver. One is the metabolism of protein, carbohydrate, and lipids. Okay, another is the synthesis. In the synthesis there are many things happen. In the synthesis there is the albumin, clotting factor, and also immune protein. For example, the immune protein, what is that? It is the complement protein. Okay, immune protein complement. complement. This is the synthesis. Now come to the next thing is the storage. In the storage there is the glucose stored in the form of glycogen. Another is the blood reservoir. It stores a lot of blood, and during injury it's provide blood to the body. Okay, and another is the storage mineral, mineral and vitamin. Okay, mineral iron, copper, vitamin ik the. Okay, and also vitamin B12, vitamin B12 and vitamin B12, vitamin B12. Okay, and folate. So these are the function. Okay, function of the liver. So if this video help you, please subscribe and like the video. Thanks for watching.